Mm, 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 mm. Do, do. If I leave here tomorrow, mm, would you still remember me? I must be traveling on now. There's too many places I've got to see. If I stay here with you, girl, things just wouldn't be the same. 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now. And this bird you cannot change. And this bird you cannot change. And this bird you cannot change. Oh Lord, I can't change. Good morning, fellow billionaires. It's Silver 5150 with your morning update for Wednesday, September 30th, 2020. Per subscriber request, Leonard Skinner's Freebird, an abbreviated version, of course, much shorter than the guitar solo on the extended version. If you guys haven't heard the extended version of Freebird, I don't know what to tell you. You gotta, especially if you love guitar. I love guitar. You know, I try to play. I'm not that good at it, but I just, yeah. That is one of the solo guitar picking songs of all time. I think that solo is like 12 minutes long. These guys, they just play their brains out. You listen to it once, and you'll put it on repeat for a while. It is epic. Epic, epic, epic. And in fact, a lot of Leonard Skinner stuff you could say is for guitar lovers, even though the lyrics are great, the stories are great. It's just nuts. So it's a excellent. I don't even call them like a super group. They're more like an alumni, where great musicians get to come through and play and pick and produce and create albums, with the core group. And yeah, just an excellent body of work. I cannot tell if I've got that right side up, upside down. Let's take a look. These are the World of Dragon coins. These are the copper offerings. They've got the silver ones. This is Quetzalcoatl, who is the first edition of the World of Dragons out of Provident, or one of those groups that make those series. I'm sure Silver Game of Thrones knows. Excuse me. So yeah, yesterday, guys, you were with me. I went a little bit off the deep end, and I didn't know they had a mock-up of the Silver Eagle there on that. Yes, Bitcoin. It's a bullion, not bits. Safety in numbers. Excellent. Yeah, guys, yesterday I went off the deep end. Protect the future. I love this. Yeah, yesterday I went off the deep end, and I wanted to say God bless you all that reached out and pulled me out of the swamp. You guys reached in there and grabbed me out. I was thinking about all kinds of crazy stuff that could be happening with these new coins and stuff. Seriously, I thank you very much for that. But yeah, I was basically trying to draw a correlation between the advent of these new 2021 coins that are coming out from the U.S. Mint next year, and the possibility of them being secretly married to the Mint ID technology. That's been a new hotness for this year. Everybody's talking about the new Mint ID technology. It's out there. And so I was thinking, like, what if they slept a chip inside and they didn't tell anybody? Because, look, let's be honest, things that have been going on, they haven't really told us a whole lot about, what all they're doing. When I say they, the powers that be, you know who I'm talking about, the Treasury, the Fed, the banks, the government, in general, the administration and stuff. And so, why would they be forthcoming with, certain information now? And in fact, last night I had a quick conversation with the Silver Joker, and he calls me up, man, because he started learning stuff about the repo buybacks, and he actually posted a great video about that. Not repo buybacks, I'm sorry, share buybacks, which is basically companies buying their own stocks. And he started doing the math, and he just kind of woke up some more, because it is absolutely epic and crazy, the contortions and distortions we have in the capital markets and what it's going to look like when this thing kind of blows wide open. And so anyway, yeah, we're going to dig more into that into our podcast later this week. We're going to talk about all the shenanigans that's going on, and have been going on for probably the last 10 to 12 years, last 10 to 12 years in the capital markets, and what it's going to look like on the other side, once something starts to trigger it and things start to roll over. So anyway, now that you guys have pulled me out of the swamp, and again, I thank you for that, I've decided that the first chance I get when these 2021 offerings come out, the Morgans and the peace dollar offerings, and in fact, this right here is, if you haven't seen a peace dollar, you newer stackers, that's the design right there. Lady Liberty of that design. I don't know about the back. I think the back has something different on it because it's from the U.S. Mint. But in any case, yeah, they've got Morgans and peace dollar designs out there that they're going to issue in 2021. I'm going to get my sticky hands on some. I really am. I'm trying to see if there's anything different here. I think a lot of these things are the same. I had some St. Gaudens. I had Buffalo. But yeah, so I'm going to get some of those as soon as they're issued. Now, I mentioned yesterday that we're going to take another look at copper. And for that, I have this big box here of bullion grade copper. And, I'm going to pull these bars and rounds out. We're just going to be looking at them as we kind of go through the show this morning. And there are going to be some repeats, so just bear with me. It's about what I'm going to say, I guess, more than what we're seeing. But this is pretty good eye candy for copper. I cannot complain at all. This is I'm very happy that I invested in copper when I did, the way I did. I've got, of course, capsulized stuff like this. And you think to yourself, Silver 5150, what the heck is the necessity of putting a $1 capsule or a 50-cent capsule on a $1 copper round or bar? Well, guys, I think just like anything else, your fractional silver, your fractional gold, I'm not saying that copper is going to be a precious metal at any point. It's never going to happen. It's just too plentiful for that. But once we get into some of these newer eras and ages we're going into, you'll see that copper is going to be quite valuable, if not precious. So as such, me, I like to be many steps ahead of the game. It's just one of those things I front ran. I front ran copper, and I front ran it in a serious way, thinking that it is going to be money, not directly in this form, but possibly in some form like it, and just to go ahead and load up and have some at the same time, before the rush. Beat the rush. Always about beating the rush. Okay. Let's get in it closer, see if we can get some better focus on those. Can't do it. He doesn't like to do it. Brand new Samsung phone. Fine. See that way. We'll pay attention to this one. Pale Horse. A Rider of Death. I mean, is there any batter butt out there as far as the apocalypse goes? On the Pale Horse. Your Rider of Death. You know what his business is all about. So anyway, yeah. So we look at this big box of copper. So I'm asking you guys to go ahead and settle in, huddle up with your favorite cup of joe. I did not have any caffeine this morning, so I'm going to see how this show's going to turn out. This is going to be one for the ages. So anyway, you got your cup of coffee. You're peeking at the market action from time to time while you're listening to me. Silver 5150 talking about the future of copper. Yeah, I know. Now look. I'm looking at the markets right now. I bet you guys are looking at the markets right now. You didn't plan this, but when you started getting into stacking and you want to understand more about what's going on, you do become a market watcher. You do. It's inevitable. You end up, watching your favorite indexes, and it could be fun. Okay, it is. It's fun to watch the markets do their thing, especially when there's a lot of action like today. This is the end of the quarter, and mamma mia, it's going to be all kinds of craziness going on today because a lot of traders are trying to get out of their positions, whether they're commodities or whatever and whatnot. But yeah, sometimes it can be fun. Sometimes it can be a little sad, but it's definitely exciting. Okay, so if all that sounds good to you, let's continue with this. But first, a quick check of those markets. Copper. Okay, let's look at the Morgan. This is Morgan design, by the way. The other one was Peace Dollar design. This is the Morgan design right here, which somebody corrected me. It's not a barber, but it's a Morgan design. All right, so right now stock futures are down about 0.5% across the board. S&P 500, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2K small caps are actually tracking upward from earlier because they were kind of doing this flounder thing, trying to figure out how the rest of the quarter is going to end up, throughout the day. And so we're going to see Beeble Bobble all day long, back and forth in the red, of course, for stocks as we go through the day. And they might pull out the powers that be, the President's Working Group on Capital Markets. They might do some plunge protection and pump some cash into the system to get equities into the green to close out the quarter in the green and help those quarterly numbers look better for the corporations that are going to have to report those next month for the third quarter. So we'll go ahead and we'll keep an eye on that. And of course, if stocks are down and other indexes are down, that means that the dollar is up, and the dollar is up today, up some 19, almost 20 basis points at 94.11. So back into that 94 handle after we got down into that 93 handle, which I predicted earlier in the morning yesterday. And yeah, it looks like it's that battle royale we talked about. It's going to be going on. There's going to be some, knots knocked into different people's heads, and people are going to lose money, people are going to make money. It's just going to be mayhem all day. But, we can go on about currencies and stocks, but I think we are more concerned with precious metals, in particular the white and yellow metals. Let's go ahead and get into those right now. Gold is back down underneath that 19 handle, which is a huge psychological barrier, but I say it's still within range. I say gold is still within range, it's within 30, 2 points of its all-time high. And we know that can be covered in one day. It's no big deal. But right now, gold is down to $18.91 even, down some $12.20, and that's 0.64% down, which is no big deal. I mean, that can be recovered today if that's the case. But silver is down right now. It always performs bigger to the upside or downside, and silver right now is down 2.32%, down 56 cents at 23.87. So we've been buying all week. We've been trying to take advantage of these dips. I got to tell you, man, the commercial banks, they had me a little concerned yesterday and Monday, because we had, moves to the upside, and I expected there to be, Smackdown all week long. And I was thinking they're not even going to be able to close out the month, anything, negative for us to stack. And it looks like they're not going to disappoint us today. So, I've got these things, but I don't really have a lot of designs, so sorry. It looks like we're just going to have to recycle a little bit. I'm going to get into detail of this one. This is one of my favorites right here, along with the Horseman. And these are some of the ones, by the way, that I tell you, if you're going to stack copper, by the way, try to find copper that is attached to the sets or the series of the more precious metals. Like there are some, I don't think there's any series out there that have gold, silver, and copper variants, but there's certainly plenty of series out there that have copper and silver variants. So you get the silver ones come out first and the copper ones come after. And Providence is pretty good about having that stuff, Golden State Mint. So just kind of keep that in mind. But look at the detail they put in the bricks and in the feathers and all this stuff with this particular round here. That's an excellent strike for silver or copper. All right, so we're going to continue to watch the markets and see how things go. I'm looking at the momentum right now, and things are pretty much flat across the board, flat to down as far as momentum goes. We're in the red for everything except the dollar. So we'll, like I said, keep a sharp eye on that. All right, so with gold and silver looking so bullish moving into the fourth quarter, meaning that they fought back really good this week, stacker begins to wonder, so how can I, take the stacking thing a step further, all right? And of course, the natural gut reaction would be, well, yeah, Silver Junkie, you can take it a step further, buy more silver, duh. That is a very viable strategy. And this is what we do normally, and we'll do today, by the way. I think I'm going to try to make a purchase today. I'm going to look and see what the price action is and see if there's something out there worth buying. If you guys find something cool, like you always do, that is not too good to be true, please post it in the comments below so everybody can take advantage of it. I think this is going to mark the last day, one of the last days we're going to be able to make purchases at these levels. I think things are going to start to get really insane tomorrow and into, of course, the election cycle. All right. But yeah, you can go ahead and stack silver like you've always been doing. But what happens when silver begins to get out of reach? But you have some excess cash. I mean, it's possible, that's going to happen. It's a good problem to have, by the way. Have some excess cash and you have all the silver you want to stack right now. Maybe you want to stack a little more. But the best response, would probably be to call it macaroni for some people and just say, I've done, stacking silver. I've got plenty of silver, and I'm going to head in a completely different financial direction than metals. So at that point, you're looking at your cash, and maybe you go after some of those additional durable goods we talked about before. The clothes, the socks, the shoes, the long-term foods, all that stuff, just to make sure that you don't have to go out and fight the masses when we come up on the resource shortages, and we have to get out there and be standing in lines like they do in Venezuela. At the very least, you would have to pay somebody in silver to stand in line for you and get your stuff. But you'd be able to do that. Okay, so not a bad deal. Anyway, so many of us will be looking to reallocate some of our excess silver capital into extinguishing our outstanding debts, and that's me I'm talking about because I do have outstanding debt. I've been using the debt system, the credit system, to the max, and I need to satisfy that here sooner than later. So that's going to be my first target. But some of you may be looking at the acquisition of other big ticket assets. You know, if there's a house you have in sight, this sort of thing, you might start to hammer away on that and get that going so it's in place. So when your silver does revalue heavily to the upside, big time, explode to the upside, you can go ahead and secure that piece of property, whatever you're after, very easily. So now I feel comfortable in saying that I believe most of us here will never sell our entire silver position. We'll just never do it. Because, like Bill Holter says, silver is the rally you never sell. Sorry about the noise. Yep, they're pretty much all the same. Yeah, and so it's the rally you never sell. Bill Holter of JS Mindset, meaning that you won't sell it off entirely. You'll sell it off incrementally, but there'll always be some left, probably for the next generation or what have you. You know, as generational wealth, and you're going to always keep some for insurance. So that's good to keep in mind. Now, I'm also of the suspicion that there'll be an inflation or hyperinflation in gold and silver, while simultaneously being a deflation in a lot of the other asset classes out there. And that's just, the way things are going to roll. We've seen it actually happen in the markets to where, they're deflating gold and silver, by artificial suppression, and they've got stocks and everything else going to the moon. So, yeah, it's, it's all part of that artificial price suppression we talked about. And so I'm going to take this a step further and say I think there'll be a period of limbo in between all that, between now and that. So a period of limbo while waiting for inflation and deflation to converge. This will probably be marked by, say, $70 to $100, prices in spot silver, but an inflated real estate market and stock market that's going on at the same time, but barely hanging on by a thread. You can see it about to roll over, but you don't want to jump into it while those prices in, stocks and, say, real estate are really high. You want those things come crashing down while silver's still elevated and then pounce. To give you an example, something I tried to bring up earlier on this year when oil crashed $37 below zero and closed that day at $37 below zero. Let's have a little fun. Silver at that time, I think, was probably $12 an ounce. Now imagine if you were positioned to where you could take your silver at $12 an ounce and have a deal in place with somebody that was in oil and was looking to get out of it and pay you to take it. You have your silver and you say, okay, well, I'll trade you some silver, but I'm going to want, 100 barrels of oil for 1 ounce of silver. I don't know if you get away with that, but we do know that in the Louisiana Purchase, there was something like 36 acres of land for 1 ounce of silver. So why not 100 barrels of oil for 1 ounce of silver if the timing is right? And that's all about the market timing is what we're looking at. So in any case, you could say like, yeah, you got 100 ounces of silver, and for that you were able to get 10,000 barrels of oil, and then oil goes back up to $40, and that's basically how you play the wealth cycles, and you get wealthy. You play a completely smashed wealth cycle and purchase it with a elevated or hyperinflated one, and that's the game we're going to play. And I think copper will actually be able to take advantage of some of that too, after silver becomes out of reach and people start looking for copper. All right. So with that all in mind, I want to say, I think this may be the perfect time to load up on this forgotten copper bullion, this stuff here, because the silver is going to explode to the upside. It's going to take up all of the oxygen out of the financial media, and you'll begin to think that there's nothing else going on but silver, silver, silver. And I also emphasize that bullion grade copper would be a good move also, because of its grade and clearly marked nature. You can see here that, this is bullion grade, this is 3 9s, fine. And of course, it's clearly marked. It's got stuff everywhere on it. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give you a couple of reasons why I think silver is, I think bullion grade copper here is a great investment. This is not to disparage pre-1982 copper pennies. We'll talk about that in a minute. But let's just talk about these particular types of rounds and bars here. See if we can get them both in as an investment. And look at them. Look at these guys. They look pretty rich, right? Yeah, copper, not bad. Okay, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. So the first thing, I think once this economic reset that we're in right now. We're in it. This economic reset. We're at the very edges of it. It's just like Silver Game of Thrones says. You're at the edge of a tornado. You're in the eye of a tornado. Things don't look like much is going on, but trust me, when it hits or goes back to the violent parts of the tornado, you're going to really feel it. All right. So once this economic reset is complete, I think the world as a whole is going to start heading into the next great expansion. Okay? An expansion, which is going to be a period that will include massive infrastructure refitting, environmental upgrades, and breakthrough technologies. Okay? A combination of things that's going to catapult us into the new sci-fi age. Now, this will all require copper and tons of it. All right? And it's going to cause a tightening. It's going to cause a tightening in the copper market. Okay? In the more refined forms of this red metal here. So the bullion grade form, of course, is going to cause a tightening in that, and it's going to be gargantuan. Talking about the tightening that the great rebuild, the great expansion is going to cause, and so it's going to be one of those things. And I'm talking about the rebuilding, how gargantuan it's going to be. It's going to make the Renaissance and the space age and the information age look like a bake sale. It's going to be insane. Countries are going to try to outbuild each other. They're going to try to outdo each other, outstrip each other, outspend each other, and it'll be a monster. It'll be a monster. It'll be a monster. So the second reason, besides the great expansion and copper, you got to have copper for that. Okay, any kind of infrastructure rebuilding, technology and stuff, you got to have copper for that. The second thing being that more refined bullion grade copper will essentially already be in monetary form, right? This is the peace dollar design. In monetary form, weighed and measured, okay? And it'll have the ability to fill a hard money need or hard monetary need that limited silver stores will be unable to. Silver will actually become exhausted trying to fulfill the role of money. It'll become too valuable to be money, and something will have to fill in place of that. Now, I doubt that this particular coin here, this particular round here, will receive a fiat blessing in the form it's in right now, but it can be easily reconfigured or even legislated to be acceptable as fiat currency at some point, depending on where you are in the world. So at that time, you will be able to get it either through exchanges, talking about this bullion grade copper, you'll be able to get it in coin form through exchanges or whatever kind of banking structure is by then. But since when was the way of the stacker ever involved? Since when have we ever played a game of waiting for metal to be issued? No. By the time those things become a reality, we are going to be the ones ahead of the game, already in possession of the desired asset. We don't wait for anybody to tell us it's okay to declare something money. We know what money is, and so we start to move into it ahead of everybody else. All right, so we'll be in possession of that desired asset when everybody else is trying to get it, wearing a hat that says no bid, no less, meaning we're not going to sell it either, if you get my drift. So tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys think about this. The great expansion that I think is coming up, and where things are going to burn to the ground, not literally or physically, but things are going to burn to the ground financially. There's going to be a lot of undone projects, and economies are going to freeze to a halt, and people are going to fall into destitution. But we're going to come out of it, and we're going to be a lot better for it. And there's going to be this motivation, inspiration to be better and to build a better world. And as a result, we're going to go into this great expansion. I think that's got to be right side up there. Okay. And so that I think is going to be reality. And but just tell me what you think about the great expansion and the possibility of copper being legislated into money, possibly in different denominations. Again, we use it in the we use it in coins right now coming out of the mint, but in very, very limited, forms where things are bathed in copper, or like the case of, I think I had Justin tell me yesterday, subscriber Justin tell me yesterday that a quarter is 93% copper or something like that, 92% copper. And so we are using it in money right now, in cash. So what do you guys think? The great expansion, is that going to have effect on copper? And the monetization of copper, is that going to have effect on the spot price as well? And is it worth getting into because of that? All right. So yeah, tell me if I'm on the deep end, if I'm still off the deep end, and copper is worth getting into still. Now, it's a well-known fact, like I said, you guys, if you really like copper, it's a very easy thing. I think you can actually order cases of pre-1982 pennies, okay, which are 95% copper, and a fraction of the cost, I think, of this Trip 9 stuff here, triple nines. So yeah, if you want to do that, you can do that, find out how to do that and get yourself some, all right? And the pedigree of the United States Treasury, it's not to be discounted. I mean, it ensures that those copper pennies don't get to be more money than anything else. I mean, that's about as money as you can get. Those pre-1982 copper pennies. So go ahead and do that if you want to do that. Okay. So I thought I had more variety in here, so I'm gonna apologize, man, because I really thought I guess I bought a lot of volume in this stuff. But you know what? These bars are so nice. Let's just go ahead and pull in one of these. All right. So look, I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning on this uncaffeinated Copper Odyssey. Proof that we'll explore any angle. Us stackers will explore any angle to better prepare ourselves for the multiple financial storms that are coming. That's what we do. We're stackers. I'm Silver 5150, telling you that your stack is not whack and at just 15 ounces to your name. And we're talking silver here. We're talking silver, not copper. Not copper. Just 15 ounces to your name keeps you 99% ahead of the game. As always, I ask that you please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Check us out on Instagram and continue tuning in for our upcoming giveaways, scheduled and random. Right? Remember that, random. So let's go out there and get that medal, people. Today is a good day. The price is being smashed down. I think it's going to be one of the last days this year to do that. Okay, so let's go out there and get that medal before it gets away from us. Stack it hard, stack it high, stay safe, and take care. We'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.